Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough. A thing that I've noticed is that most of the bad shows that I've talked about usually lasted more than just one episode. Brothers Grunt lasted 4 seasons in less than a year. Popetown got 1 episode aired, but technically 10 episodes made. Nutshack and Joey lasted 2 seasons. Slim Shady Show lasted at least 13 episodes or so. Hell, Rugrats Preschool Days got 3 out of 5 episodes aired. The only bad show that never lasted past its pilot that I've talked about was that Bubsy cartoon from the Bubsy retrospective. But now we take on yet another terrible TV pilot that was only aired twice, the Groovenians. For some backstory as to where exactly this bizarre mess came from, it all started with an artist, a young man hailing from New York named Kenny Scharf. He was an up-and-coming surrealist artist back in the 80s, and I gotta say, the man's very talented. His art contains a lot of influence of old-school cartoons from Hanna-Barbera that he grew up watching. But in 2002, he was approached to make an animated pilot for Cartoon Network. The result was the Groovenians, which only aired once on Adult Swim and then a year later on Cartoon Network. So let's all board the psychedelic spaceship. This is the Groovenians. The special begins with the theme song, performed by the B-52s of all people.
Space is the place. We're the Groovenians.
Yes, Rock Lobster, B-52s. Love Shack, B-52s. Theme song to Rocko's Modern Life, B-52s. If you're wondering why they did this, here's the answer. Kenny Scharf did one of their album covers, so this was basically done as a favor. The episode itself begins on the planet Jeepers. Why they named it after a 1930s slang term, I don't know.
Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers? Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes?
You see, back in the day, kids, this was the kind of stuff that we listened to.
How'd they get?
We're then introduced to our 2 main characters, Jet and Glindy, a hippie beatnik couple straight out of the 1960s, spending their days dancing around in flower costumes, doing slam poetry, and throwing paint onto everything. As well as Jet's dog, Lookie, a dog with multiple eyes who makes many noises like one of those preschool animal sound toys.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the newest act from the Glindy and Jet duo called Zoo Zippawow. And now here's my zentabulous boyfriend Jet with a little number we call
A free love noise, funny, fun, funny.
Get ready for more of these guys, because they're the main characters.
Poetry in slow motion.
Huh, so apparently the lawns on Jeeper are produced by the Lego Corporation. Fun fact, Jet is played by Paul Reubens of Pee Wee Herman fame, and Jet's dad here is played by the late great Dennis Hopper. And as you'll soon see, Jet's more 1950s suburbia-style family don't take too kindly to the duo's free love lifestyle.
What do you kids think life is? A party? When are you gonna learn that you can't have your cake and eat it too, huh?
Jet, we've got to get out of this place.
And now all of a sudden they're just out of their flower costumes.
Great continuity!
I have artistic potential, untapped potential. I need to be free, right? To express myself, and you too, Jet.
Oh great, forced social commentary, because I just didn't have enough of that with Popetown. And trust me, it gets even more in your face as the special goes. As the two contemplate over what to do, a friend of theirs is dropped off by an alien spaceship. This is Nixon. He's a stereotypical 90s party dude.
Yo, yo, I'm back.
Wow, Nixon, where have you been all this time?
Yeah, we've heard some really strange stories of what happened to you.
Yeah, well, you know, they're all true. Guys, I found a place. The place, man. Man, it was great. Groovenia.
Ooh, Groovenia.
Groovenia!
Oh, hello. Song sequence. Soon, Nixon's grandma comes out and drags him inside the house. Before he gets dragged in, he throws Jet and Glindy a swirly thing, which he says is a key. He says that when they get to Groovenia, to use it when they find someone called Zazzy. But no time for that. Jet's parents have to call them in to have a little talk.
I think it's time you 2 kids put on the yoke and harness of life's responsibilities.
Hey, don't look so down. Today's your lucky day.
That's right. Jet and Glindy, come on down!
Like, they decide their future occupations through game show. I don't know, maybe this is a thing that they just do on Jeepers. So they decide the two's futures. Glendy will be a file clerk, which for some reason involves this tentacle thing. Insert Zone Animations joke here. And Jet will be forced to marry Glendy's sister.
Are you crazy? I love Glindy.
And I love Jet.
We belong together.
That's it! I've had it with this free-thinking insanity!
Before the shotgun wedding can go anywhere, Glindy breaks free and the two make a break for it, which results in... everybody just spontaneously turns into demons. Did I mention a surrealist artist made this show? And by the way, I just want to point this out. By the show's logic, Jeepers is the boring, normal planet. So the Rob Zombie music video rejects chase after them, but the two narrowly make it to the last remaining rocket to Groovenia, giving them the slip.
They'll be back.
And you guys just give up like that? Well, that kind of renders the whole chase scene kind of pointless then, huh?
Hey, suckers. I'm your flight attendant, Champagne Courvoisier. Welcome aboard the one and only slamming, jamming, supercalifragilistic, there ain't no other, intergalactic fun bus.
So the crew lands on Groovenia, and they come face to face with what in the flying a talking tree with 10 legs that speaks in rhyme. And has a keyhole in its back.
Oh my, oh me! I see you have a key. Just slide the key inside my slot. A pretty key can tell a lot.
Oh, what the heck? Why not?
Sexual innuendo.
So after whatever the hell you want to call that, we're more than halfway through the special, and we finally come face to face with the titular Groovenians, Suavo, Swirly, and Lalasha, who are also pastel-skinned humanoids like Jet and Glendy, except they have one eye instead of two, and their heads are shaped differently. Only other thing of note is that Suavo is played by voice acting legend Jeff Bennett, who puts us all into the role, even if you can't really tell what accent he's trying to go for.
Ugh, that's enough, Suavo.
What is this?
Why do you talk to Suavo in this way?
Seriously, what kind of accent do you think he's trying to do? Italian? French? Spanish?
Excuse me, Mr. One-Eyed Man? We're your new roommates from some far-off distant planet, and we brought our really weird pet.
Oh, I forgot all about Jet.
Hello. Hello.
Who's there? Oh, well, hello there, sir.
No, the more the special plays, the more I'm starting to see why they aired it on Adult Swim.
My name's Jet, and this here's Lookie.
Wow, nice oculars.
Say hello, Lookie.
Wait, is that a laugh track? We're more than halfway through the special, and they just decide to put in a laugh track all of a sudden? Just because the Flintstones did it doesn't mean that you can do it, especially this late into the special. So now that everybody's acquainted, it's time for...
Tent party! Tent party!
So much to see and do here in Groovenia. I just want to open every pore in my body and let it all soak in.
Oh, great Sunstar, could this place possibly get any better?
Oh no, look out, last minute conflict! So now we see who's in charge of Groovenia. Greedy, emotionless green robots called the Normals. Let me say that again. The Normals! Who show up every so often to collect payment, which payment on Groovenia is apparently ecto-cooler. You know, that would be a semi-clever use of the saying, waste money like water, but they don't go into it enough. And the king of these knockoff blockheads from Gumby is King Norman, also played by Dennis Hopper, who's supposed to be just like the father character from earlier.
You just want to do your art and have fun, huh? Well, it's not that simple. You have to pay the piper for it, and it just so happens you're looking at him.
Oh, so it's kind of like Peter Pan or Jumanji. Clever. Although, if I can be totally honest, this is probably the best character in the whole thing. Sure, he's the villain, but he's just so delightfully hammy and over the top, I can't help but enjoy the way Dennis Hopper portrays him.
And I love money.
And how does he show his exaggerated love of money? He sings about it. Although, saying he sings about it is kind of putting it lightly, because it's just kind of him talking over a terrible 8-bit instrumental.
Money. Cause it's liquid. Money. Makes me happy. Money. It's where it's at. Money makes my world go round. Money. Gets my metal heart pumping. Money. My elbow liver stumping. Yes. Yeah, boys. Ain't that something? Money makes my world go round.
Stop! You're scaring him!
Stop it! Your childish ooga booga finger waggling noises are scaring him! So the Groovenians and Glendy beat these guys by turning on the anti-gravity thing, which forces a couple of them to start dancing, and squirting paint onto them. Hey look! A payoff from something earlier in the special.
You've escaped my greedy clutches this time, but I'll be back. And you better have your taxes, or it's back to Jeepers with you, and your little dog too!
How does the special end? Well, get a load of this.
Wait, he said he'll be back, and he'll send us back to Jeepers.
Well, you know, kids, these are the very kind of life-perplexing issues every hipster's gotta face sooner or later.
Stop it, Swirly. You're not helping. These two need sage advice.
Well, what do you think we should do, Lalasha?
Well, let's see. At Groovenia, 24 hours isn't until tomorrow. And tomorrow is another day! Here, have some Juicerino cake! Let's party!
Uncle Dance!
So that was the Groovenians, and oh god, that was stupid. The characters are either bland, annoying, stereotypical, unlikable, or all of the above. The animation, while it's better than something like Turkle and Trouble or Sir Billy, it's still cheap, even by early 2000s standards. The writing is terribly preachy and in your face, especially when it comes to the dialogue, with the over-the-top conformist 50s suburbia versus the oppressed artistic hippie beatniks. I've got nothing against artists wanting to express themselves, but this came off as ham-fisted as a Kirk Cameron movie with its message. While Kenny Scharf remains a very talented painter, he probably wasn't the best pick to greenlight a Cartoon Network show. While The Groovenians is bad, and trust me, it's really bad, it at least stayed at just a pilot. I mean, trust me, I would hate to see a full season of this if it did become a series. One thing that I take away from this special is thinking of yet another bad CG thing that I reviewed that had aliens in it. Planet 51.
You're a great planet, and your 50s are fine. But give me a call when you get to the 60s. Cause that's gonna be fun.
Oh, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I'm afraid I disagree. Tune in next time where we do an epic media battle on a Cartoon Network show and a Nickelodeon show. Until then, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough.
We've got to have money.